So I see that a lot of people are having issues with using PuTTY to connect to the TSCC, so I just wanted to make a quick guide for everyone. So the first step, which is kind of the prerequisite to everything, is you have to generate your public and your private keys. So essentially the way that these things work is instead of having to type in a username and a password to log in, you have a public key that Jim Hayes, the system administrator, is going to assign to your account, and then you use your private key to connect to the public key, and it kind of shakes hands with each other to let you in. So people do this so that you can A, kind of make it easier to assign access to different people, and B, also if you don't specify a password on your private key, you don't need to sign in, so it might save you some time typing in your password. But yeah, either way, you need to generate a public and a private key. That's the first step. Then we send Professor Gasterland the public key. She sends that to Jim, and he puts it to your account. Then, whenever you want to log in, you can use your private key. So first, I'll show you how to generate the private and the public key pair. So I loaded up Putty Key Generator. It's called Putty Gen. You can get it from the Putty website. I just googled Putty, and it's like the first link. So it brings you to this page where you have a couple options. The first thing is you click Generate. It says generate some randomness by moving the mouse over the blank area. So you just kind of squiggle your mouse around, and then it generates the key. And it gives you all this stuff that you don't really care about, but whatever. So key comment, you could write CSE 190, whatever you want. I put my name on mine, but it doesn't matter. Key passphrase, if you want to specify a little extra security so that when you use your key, you also have to give a password, this is where you would type it. You don't necessarily have to do this, so I just won't, but when I sign in later on using my account, I did previously, so that'll be a little different, but you can leave this blank if you want. And then you see that there's these two buttons, Save Public Key and Save Private Key. You want to do both. So I'll go to the desktop, CSE 190 public key.pub. I think that was the public one. Yeah. And then, are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it? That's fine. You don't need one. CSE 190 private key. And then just keep the default file format. You save. And that's it. This is all you need to do to generate your public and your private keys. So, let's see. Here's my private key. And where did my public key go? There it is. So you see that I have the private key and the public key. This public key is what you send to Professor Gasterland so that you can get your account set up. So now, assuming you have a public key set up and you have your private key still saved, this is how you would connect to your account. So for the host name, you type in your account's username, @ and then tscclogin.sdsc.edu. Keep the port to 22. Then the special thing to set it up with your specific private key, you go to SSH, go to auth, and then where it says private key file for authentication, click browse, navigate to your private key, mine's right here, and then if you want, you can go back to session, and then give it a name. I named it CSE 190, and then hit save. This way you don't have to redo this each time you do it. You can just open Putty, it's saved, you just double click, and it'll go. So in my case, I did put a passphrase on mine, so that's why I have to actually type in the passphrase that I set when I used Putty Gen. So the passphrase that you would have typed, I'll pull it up again. Once it goes. So the passphrase that you might have typed here, that is what you type here. If you didn't type one, then you're fine. But if you did, like I did, you just type it. It looks like nothing's typing, but it is. Hit enter, and you're in. So yeah, that should get you set up if you have Windows.